Okay, let's see our stream as well if we already have a few people joining us. Thanks, everybody, or thanks to those who are watching us live, joining the conversation. And also, of course, we also want to say, wait, yeah, I keep on changing tabs. Also, we want to say hello to those who will be watching us in the future, meaning those people who will be watching the recording of this session in any platform where this will be available. So, yeah, let's jump in right away. Welcome, everybody, and thank you to those people joining us. And what we're going to talk about today is something that is becoming more important for businesses, and that is how people interact with your website. And let's just do a backtrack a little bit. For a long time, the standard approach was simple. Visitor lands on your site, they fill out a contact form, any form on your website, and then they wait. They wait for someone to follow up, or they receive a confirmation, hey, we received your submission, and so on. Okay, that worked better when customers were more patient and competition was slower. But today, people expect answers quickly. They may be comparing several businesses at once. You're probably doing that. You're talking to one vendor and then you're also talking to another on other side of your phone or computer. And you have one question that you're before you're ready to book, or some people they may fill out a long form just to find out how you can help them or the business can help them. So today we're going to talk about moving from static lead form or lead capture to a more conversational engagement. And how is that possible? Then our resource person will be talking about those things, right? So instead of asking every visitor to complete a form and wait, your business can use intelligent chat tools and AI supported conversations to answer questions, can also guide people, and can also qualify leads and even help them take the next step faster. Because right now, who has the time, right? All of us are impatient. Anyway, to walk us through why traditional forms often fall short, how conversational AI is changing lead capture and support, and what you should think about before even adding these tools to your website. We are joined today by Edwin Arenas. For those who have been watching our live in the past months, you've heard me introduce Edwin, but for the sake of those who are new to our Community Connect, allow me to read Edwin's bio so that you would know his qualifications. So, software engineer by trade, Edwin has been working in the digital marketing space for the last 13 years. Right now, he's the operations manager of Lojo Marketing, which is one of the admins in our community. Lojo Marketing is a full service growth partner that helps businesses build stronger brands, websites, and marketing systems enhanced by AI powered all in one business software through the Growth Genie 360 offering. Okay, so Edwin will be sharing practical insights. And of course, as we go along, feel free to engage through writing in the comments. Later, we also have Q&A. You can also ask questions. And to those who will be watching the recording, it's okay if it's you can still write your questions and our team will answer. Okay, so I'm seeing a few viewers in the community right now. Thank you so much. And now I'm already giving the floor to Edwin, but of course I will also be sharing the screen. So give me a sec to do that.
Thank you, Diana. Thank you for that introduction. And welcome, everyone. Today, we are going to answer this critical question for any business online. And that is, why should a modern website have a chat widget? So let's wait a moment for the slides and we will begin.
I will go get.
Okay. Can you go back to the first one?
Okay. There we go.
Okay. Thank you, Diana. So To answer this question, why should a modern website have a chat widget? We need to understand a fundamental shift in how people interact with businesses online. Okay, as Diana was saying, websites used to function as a static informational brochure where visitors basically had to do all the work of navigating through the menus and searching for information. But today, we are transitioning to a conversational paradigm. Okay, modern consumer interactions demand immediate, frictionless, and highly complex aware responses. So in these 30 minutes, we are going to explore how AI-powered chat widgets solve the biggest bottleneck in lead generation, which is, but also in customer support and sales, which is basically, okay, how to get people to actually start that interaction, okay? And we are going to see how to implement that using the Growth Genie 360 platform. Uh, please move to the next one. Okay, so first, let's be honest of how a traditional website used to work. Okay, that is a contact form, and a standard contact form converts about in this really low rate of just 2 or 3%. That means that if you have 3% conversion rate, 97% of your website visitors are leaving without you getting any information from them. And if you add extra fields to a form, not just the name, phone, and email, but then you start adding more and more and more fields to add, each additional field reduces the conversion rate by an additional 11% because it increases the effort and to contact you. And there's an additional thing, which is the delay anxiety. It's called delay anxiety, and basically is that in this world where we are used to getting everything immediately, you fill a contact form and you don't know if you are getting an answer, when you are getting an answer. You have no idea when someone will respond. So research shows that responding to a lead within 5 minutes, makes you 100 times more likely to connect and convert them compared to waiting just 1 hour. So if you force a prospect to wait, they will simply go to your competitor. A static website without a chat cannot compete in this 5-minute rule. Okay, let's move to the next one. But you might be thinking, okay, so we tried chatbots in the past and they were terrible. But the thing is that, yes, you're right. So these first bots, the first generation bots, they were like these annoying things that when you call to your maybe your insurance or your bank, and they are like, hey, say your problem. And then you say, I need to speak to someone. I don't understand. Say your problem. So these first generation bots, they were rigid, they were rule-based decision trees that basically broke whenever a user just went off script. So if they were expecting for you to say your ID number and you say, I have a problem, they couldn't handle it. They didn't know what to do. But today, we are in this third generation chatbot driven by generative AI and large language models. And these are not just like a bot that can answer questions based on a frequently asked questions document. No, these modern chatbots are agents. And what I mean by agents is that they cannot just answer a question, but they can take and execute complex multi-step tasks. make decisions based on your context, and remember past interactions, and operate across different business processes and systems without constant human interaction. Okay, so they can book an appointment, they can check on availability, they can determine if a product is available. They can basically query different systems and return a question. So they don't just chat, they execute workflows, they basically operate as a digital employee. And that's why the companies that move to the third generation AI chatbots are roughly around 78% of the ones that are currently using chatbots on their website. Please, let's go to the next one. So what happens when you replace these first generation bot, or even worse, a static form, contact form, with these intelligent agentic bots? First, according to data, conversational lead capture generates 4 times more leads, okay, than a static form. And the reason why is simple. Chatbots engage with a visitor in a proactive way, okay, at the exact moment, and they can basically tailor their behavior to the questions that are being asked, or how long the person stays on a contact page and things like that. So instead of this very long form, boring form, the chatbot asks one question at a time in a natural flow using frameworks like budget, authority, need, and timeline. Okay, so that is one of the framework, and is, hey, what is your budget? What do you need? And what is your timeline? Okay, and that allows basically to qualify the lead. Okay, qualify the lead before they even have an interaction with a person. But these qualified leads are then presented with different options on how to proceed with the process. So that reduces the time to get in contact with a lead from a day to a few minutes. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Now, besides just sales capturing leads, the truth is that chat widgets can transform also customer support. So modern AI chatbots successfully deflect 40 to 60% of all routine support, like order tracking. Hey, where is my shipment? Or return processing, what do I need to do to return this product? Or troubleshooting, I have this new product and I don't know how to power it. Okay, so all of these very basic interactions can be processed with a modern chatbot. Now, the cost savings in these things are really, really large, because a human handled phone call or a digital chat compared to a digital chat can cost to $6 to $15 per interaction, depending on the rates of the person working on that call. But an AI conversation could cost maybe 50 cents to 70 cents per close situation. Okay, so on top of that, you have that the chatbots can offer support 24/7 across the globe, and they don't have to be waiting during peak periods. Okay, so we've all called to a bank and they are like, okay, we have more traffic than usual. Please wait on the line until one of our agents is available. And then 20 minutes on and you are still listening to music. So with an AI chatbot, that is not needed. Okay, the AI chatbot can reply to multiple conversations at the same time, and you don't need that kind of delay. Let's go to the next one.
Sorry, I'm looking for my mute button. That's why I haven't moved to the next one. But I'm just curious because Erin is already talking about AI chatbot. But to our audience right now, when you hear AI chat, what is your first reaction? You can share it in the chat, even along the way as we have this one. Is it something that you think, oh, that's overwhelming, or oh, that's helpful? Maybe another key adjective will be risky. So let's try to kind of see where people are at in terms of their understanding or maybe their view of AI chat. Okay. And I'll be moving this slide to the next one, and Edwin can continue.
Okay, so when we look at the financial return on investment of implementing a chat widget, we look at both the revenue gains and the cost savings. On the revenue side, conservative industry benchmarks show that incremental overall conversions can be around 3 to 10%. So that means that if you were converting, I don't know, 30%, then you can convert to 33 to 40%. Okay, so an additional percentage that you gain just by having the chatbot and reducing this time to interact with a person. Okay. The reason why is because the chatbot acts like a personal shopper recommending complementary items, and that increases the average order value. But also, it reduces the cart abandonment because many shoppers not don't finish an order because in the middle they have questions like, hey, how long is the shipping going to take? Can I pay with this instead of this type of payment type? Okay, so all of these procedural things can be answered by a chatbot and then help uh, bridge the gap that they have. Okay. Now, on the cost saving side, you drastically reduce the headcount dependent on for tier one support. So on average, a business reports that between $8 in return on investment for each dollar invested in conversational AI over a 12-month period. Okay, and again, this 8 to 1 is basically because of the additional revenue of the leads that don't leave, of the people that would go to a competitor because you didn't answer, then they don't have the patience to go through the whole website to find an answer, and instead can just ask the question to the bot and get the immediate answer, but also because of the reduced cost to do this first tier one customer support. Okay. Now let's go to the next one. So if this is all so good and so promising, why so many implementations fail? And the reason why is because the reason why so many chatbot implementations fail to meet the expectations is because, number one, poor knowledge base. So this chatbot is supposed to be an expert on your business, on your process. But if you don't really take the time to make it an expert and provide sufficient knowledge for it to know, hey, What is the cost do you have a return policy? They can make up anything if you don't provide a specific return policy with the details of what is your return policy, okay? So if you train your AI based on outdated information that you have from 10 years ago that no longer applies, basically you are going to start getting hallucinations, which is these situations in which a bot produces an answer with 100% confidence that is 100% wrong. Okay, so you sell vitamins and then you are like, hey, does this have iron? And they say yes, and steel as well. Okay, so it's going to be really, really, really important that you train your bot on up-to-date, current, and really good detailed information. Okay, so another reason to implement is that the widget pops up aggressively. So you have not even finished loading the page and the bot is already asking, hey, do you need something from us? No, the idea is to set up the bot so that it actually interacts based on human interaction, so that it's the first the person interacts, and then the chatbot is there to help them. Okay. And finally, some bots are set, and for some companies, that seems to be a strategy, which is a lack of human handoff. So we've all been there I don't know, I pick on the banks, but that is why the ones that I know that do this, which is they don't have really an option for you to talk to someone. And the thing is that the chatbot is a way for you to, again, increase the speed to lead, solve the initial tier one support questions, but it's not supposed to be a block so that we don't have any client under any circumstance talking to someone. That is not the ideal situation. The ideal situation is that it allows this speed, allows this fast resolution for frequent situations. But if the person really needs someone, then it should be a handoff to a human that is easy, that is a good experience for the lead. So let's go to the next one. Now, let's talk about execution. Okay, we know the advantages now. We know the risks and the pitfalls that we need to avoid. Now, what do we need to do to implement this on our company? Now, I'm going to explain this using Rotini 360. This is a CRM which offers a full range of tools, not just AI tools, but on multiple fronts for companies to run their business. And the first thing that we need to implement a chatbot is a really good brain for the chatbot. We do this in multiple ways, and one is we can use the AI agents portal. Okay, so inside the tool, we have an AI agents portal where you can create an AI agent using a flow-based structure. The second way that you can do this is that you can basically use its functionality to crawl your own website, to add PDFs and documents on different formats, even connected to a Google spreadsheet, so that you can provide all that information that is detailed, that is up to date, and that is current. And number three, you can also upload CSV files. Okay, these are files that are exported that have structured data. When I say structured data, it means, for example, you have, think of it as an spreadsheet that says, hey, this column is called price. So whatever you find in this column is going to be the price. So structure means that it is very clear and clearly tagged that each data, what it is. So this is the name of the product. This is the description of the product. This is the category of the product, things like that, okay? It's not just a long test in prose, but instead it's just a structure. So these three types of ways for you to feed the knowledge base allows you to ensure that the bot's answers are grounded on real, actual business data. That is not going to be a hallucination. That is not going to be just something that it pops out of a magician's hat, okay? And let's go to the next one. So now we have the brain, we have the knowledge base of this chatbot. The next item that we need to do is deploying the chat, okay? Actually putting the chatbot on your website. For that, there are multiple ways, and one of the really interesting things is that you can build your website with Genie 360, but you can create a chatbot and deploy that chatbot on any type of website, not just on websites that are built with Genie 360. So if you have your website on Wix or on WordPress or any other platform, you can still use this chatbot for your business. There are multiple ways, and you can customize the chatbot so that it has the colors, the styles that match the rest of your brand. After that, you can enable different options of how do you want this chatbot to respond. Is it only on the website, or you want it also to answer questions via SMS or via WhatsApp or via Facebook Messenger? So it can communicate with people and tend to people on multiple channels. And the final way is, the final step is actually deploying or installing your chatbot. And the platform basically allows you to put a little bit of code that it provides, and you install that on your WordPress Wix or whatever type of website you have, and voila, the chatbot will appear. Let's move to the next one. So,
I'm sorry, Edwin. Before
yes.
you go to this section, I think it's also worth bringing this up to our viewers, or as you start thinking about what Edwin just gave you. I know it might sound technical, but I think one of the things that you can start thinking about is, do you currently have your FAQs, your services, pricing policies, process, those kinds of information? Do you have it documented somewhere? Because that can be the start knowledge base that you can have. And if you don't, probably that's one of the things that you should start making a goal on, like have these things documented, because we have the old, not really old, I think it's an old saying in the computer world: garbage in, garbage out. Right? So those were the days, right? So if you don't have the good kind of information, then of course the output of the AI will be not good enough. So that's one of the things to think about. Do you have this information documented? Okay, so back to you, Edwin.
No, what you say is exactly right. The knowledge base is the first step for you to implement a successful chatbot. But that means you internally building that knowledge base, because many companies go through go through life without actually writing down what are our current prices, what are our current services. I had an experience with a company that the salespeople and the owners did not have the same table sheet for prices and services. So the quotes that salespeople would send to clients did not match what the owner had in mind. So again, building these internal processes, building this internal information, even if you are not implementing a chatbot tomorrow, that is still a priority for any business. To wrap things up, let's look at our main takeaways today, which is number one, we need to move beyond static forms. In a world where we go online and expect a physical product delivery within a business day, it shouldn't take 1 or 2 business days for you to get an answer from a company. So for many businesses, it takes more time for you to get an answer from them than from the leading companies to actually get your product or service to the door. So we need to move away from just being having a brochure online that we may respond at some point, and we are requiring people to read because, of course, people don't read anymore. And we need to move into something that is interactive, like everything on our current day and age. Number two, AI is a digital employee. Okay, it works 24/7. The current agentic chatbots are not just providing answers, but actually executing tasks. For example, you can implement a chatbot using your Genie 360 that chats with people and then sends you a voicemail with the summary of the chat, and then executes a workflow and queries your uh, availability and sets up a calendar event and sends a reminder to you and to your lead. Okay, so it is not just something asking questions and providing answers, it's actually executing tasks. Execution matters. So focus on your data, and the human handoff is not just, hey, we have the best AI to produce text. It's going to produce garbage text if you input garbage info. Okay, so even the best available AI model will not produce good results for you if you don't provide good information about your business, about your prices, about your processes, about your restrictions. Okay. And finally, you can implement all of these quite easily using platforms like Genie 360, where you can train the powerful AI using an advanced web crawler. You can provide info via multiple types of resources, uploading files, writing directly on the platform, uploading, connecting it with spreadsheets, and many more. If you want to start this journey, you can go to rogini360.com and schedule a task. Diana?
Oh, okay. Is that the last slide? Okay.
Yes.
Let me stop sharing this. Okay, so now is the time to ask questions. Just give me a sec to have a way to view the community. So if there are questions that will be coming in, I'll be able to see that immediately. And if but I also have a few questions for Edwin so that we can also unpack this conversation. Okay, so thanks, Edwin, for kind of like theoretically showing us, giving us figures, data, supporting how AI chatbot, and this is really huge for businesses. But let's go to the practical aspect. Can you tell us what can an AI powered chat tool realistically handle well, so that we kind of like have that picture in mind for in a business setting.
Okay, so let's imagine that we have an e-commerce website, okay? Mm, and you have multiple types of products that are very closely related, okay? With with enough information, a chatbot can help a person determine, for example, okay, which of these three shampoos is supposed to be better for me, okay? Or it can also help a person determine, uh, do you send products to this particular state, okay? Or it can help the person determine if I'm using this product and I'm interested in this product, then what is the other one that is recommended to use with this one? Okay, so these type of customer interactions can be handled by an AI chatbot that actually has good information, a good knowledge base. But also, eh, once you are in the checkout phase, in your and you have your cart and you have questions like how long is it going to take? Uh, what is the return policy? Yes, you have a return policy somewhere, and it's a 1,000 word document that nobody is ever going to read. Okay, so the chatbot can read it and actually answer, hey, if I find this, that XYZ, does that, can I return the product? Okay, it can go to your policy, compare what you are asking to the return policy, and actually tell you, no, it doesn't cover that, or yes, it covers that situation. Okay, so all of these types of interactions can be covered by an AI chatbot. But if you are not an e-commerce website, an AI chatbot could also be used, for example, to, as I said, schedule an appointment with a person, or it can be used to query information live. So, for example, um, I need to I need to uh, I need to buy a product, but I don't know the specific product. I need a part to repair my vehicle, but I don't know the specific part. Okay. So an AI chatbot can guide that person through a process to gather the information that uh, an expert can then use to determine what is the part. Okay. So instead of the person being in front of a form that has 10 fields and saying, no, I don't want this, with the chatbot, the interaction is much smoother because it's like, hey, just tell me what type of vehicle you have, what is the brand, okay, do you have a model, okay, and step by step, it helps the person collect all the data that this, if you put it in a form, it's going to be really daunting and it really be intimidating.
Thank you, Edwin. And I was just thinking about your anecdotes earlier, talking about you're on the phone and then it's already 30 minutes and you're still we are listening to the same ringtone over and over again to the point that you have memorized the song of
Yes.
the or the slogan. And we want to come to a point that we don't experience that anymore because it's such a waste of time. Okay. So thanks, Edwin, for that. Now, I know this question will need kind of like specific items, but just in general, give us a few things. What should AI not be responsible for handling on its own? And that's why I'm saying it could be specific to industries, but just general things. A few things that AI should not be responsible for handling. Just letting the bot. handle it all by itself.
Okay, so number one, judgment calls that require additional context that the AI doesn't have in its knowledge base. Okay, so let me give you an example. The truth is that given the trend where we are going, a personal interaction is going to be at a premium. Okay, so number one, if as a brand, you need to decide, okay, what is it that we are selling? Because we want the bot to be, yes, fast, to increase the speed to which we reply to leads and visitors on our website, okay? But if you are also selling the service of, hey, I am here, I'm a human, I am here for you, okay? Then the bot should not be everything. It should be just your front door person. Okay, so it is just there to show, hey, just let me know what you need and I can, number one, hand it over to a person because you are selling the premium of there's somebody behind the website that actually cares for you. So establishing that, building that relationship, that is one of the things, okay? Again, a actual personal interaction is going to be at a premium in the direction that we are going. So if you are selling that premium, okay, then you need to let the person know, I am your AI, but I am just here to open the door so that the person can make their business, their work better, okay? But there are many things, and the second thing that I mentioned is anything that requires a judgment call, okay, where the bot doesn't have all the context, okay? So you should not have, let's say, for example, you are a lawyer, okay? You don't want the bot to be the one determining, oh yes, based on these 3 questions that I put on a chatbot, this is the service that you need. No, it's more like, okay, thank you for gathering this. Based on my context, based on the info that I have, I think the best person to put you in contact with is this particular expert on our team. But he's the one that is going to make any judgment call.
Okay, this would be my last question for today. And I'm also looking at the comments. There's none at the moment, but then I just want to remind you we are feel free. Even after this session is done, feel free to write any questions in the comment section and we will be responding to that one. Okay. So, yeah. So a business owner or somebody watching us right now say that, oh yeah, okay, I understand why I should be implementing that because of all the benefits that you have discussed and I don't want to be left behind and yada yada yada. Now, um we also talked about one of the things that they should be thinking about is the knowledge base. Okay, so could you add, is there any more things that you want to give them, kind of like the things that they should be thinking through before actually adding an AI chat to their website?
So given that the quality of the answers depends on the knowledge base, okay, uh, creating a knowledge base is a critical step for the success of an implementation of an AI chatbot. But this critical step doesn't have to be something to stop the person. And what I mean is that, hey, if what your AI chatbot does is qualify a lead, okay, then you don't need all the information of the company to do that. What you need is, okay, what are the 5 basic critical questions that you need to determine if it's a good lead? Hey, let's say, for example, I fix diesel trucks, okay? Okay, what type of diesel truck? Oh, only these 3 brands, okay? Then you don't need a knowledge base of everything that can happen to a diesel truck. You need a knowledge base of these are the 3 brands that we work with, okay? So this, again, is a critical step, but it doesn't have to be an encyclopedia. In fact, the longer it is, the more options you you open for the AI to start hallucinating, because then it cross-references the paragraph 3 with paragraph 1000, and maybe that means that's XYZ. But if you are actually very specific and clear, it is much shorter and much safer.
Okay. Thank you so much once again, Edwin. And now you can share for our viewers, you can share your takeaway, the things that you have learned in the comment section. But now that we are wrapping up, of course, the bit one of for me, one of my biggest takeaway is that your website should not just sit there and wait for people to figure everything out on their own. Okay, so I'm gonna give the floor once again to Edwin to just have some final thoughts, if he has some more kind of like wrapping thoughts for
No, I
this
think
session.
what you just said is exactly right. In this day and age where we get everything fast and already uh, distilled, then we should not be waiting for our customers to go on a website and determine out of 1,000 pages and a million words
Yeah,
what is the answer to their question.
I love that. Okay. So, but we also want to emphasize that static forms, they still have a place, okay? But they are no longer enough just by themselves for the context that we have right now, especially with the consumer behavior. So these conversation tools can help close that gap between interest and action because, as we have learned today, they can answer common questions, they can reduce wait times, they can even capture better lead information and push people to the next step, especially when the interest is still high. But the most important part is how that system is built. Okay, so AI should not feel random, pushy, or disconnected from your business, but should be trained with the right information, connected to the right follow up process, and designed to be handoff to a real person. Edwin emphasized that point earlier when the conversation becomes more complex. Okay, so as you think about implementing this, start with a simple question: where are conversations currently getting delayed or missed or dropped? Okay, so that can be a good starting point. And of course, once again, the knowledge base. So thank you everybody for joining today's Community Connect. And we hope that this gave you a clear way to think about conversational AI or AI chatbot, however you want to call it. And we also have agentic AI, which is going to be a big, like a thing, not in the future, but it's starting now, especially with Google I/O announcing these kinds of things, with the changes in the search behavior. But anyway, we hope that you won't look at AI as another complicated tool, but as a part of a better system for responding faster, supporting your customers, and helping your business grow without adding more stress to your team. And thank you, Edwin, for joining us. Also, thank you for sharing your expertise. And at this point, we're going to say goodbye to you guys, and we'll see you again in our next Community Connect.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.